Whew. Damn. Well, that was something, all right. Although I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, and Raph and I just got done seeing the third episode to the final season of Game of Thrones, titled The Long Night. Not to be confused with the actual Long Night that happens in the book series. And of course, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Raph. He is the co-creator of Take Two, a series that we both work on at Sorensen Media Group, and he's my creative partner. We work with each other a lot. I feel like we've grown a lot closer over the past, we've been working together almost a year, right?
So, yeah.
Oh, that's freaking amazing, dude. Anyway, so while we were working today and we took our break, we watched the episode. And for the first 2/3 of the show, everything was going smoothly. Everything was great. I was entertained. I was on the edge of my seat. It was thrilling, exhilarating. There's some oh my god moments, some really solid dialogue moments.
Pacing was actually pretty good. I mean, what was that, the first 15 minutes of before anything actually happened was like really suspenseful.
Very good tension. They knew how to build the tension because, like you said, maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes of the episode, nothing happens yet. Mm-hmm. It just is a slow build up into the dark void that would be the episode. Mm-hmm. But after the first 2/3 or 2/3 of the show was concluded, we get to the final part. And that's where I'm a bit torn by this episode. You know what it reminds me of, Raph? Remember when we went to go see Glass, the M. Night Shyamalan film that came out at the start of this year? We both loved the first 2/3 of that film. Like the first and second act were really well executed. We enjoyed it thoroughly. Great dialogue, great characters, great acting, superb camera work, and some good action. Then the ending came and we were so perplexed and confused, and it kind of ruined our experience. Not wholly, but it left a bad taste.
Kind of like under-delivered on that aspect, or that part of the story arc, I guess.
They always say that when it comes to telling a story, you need to have a good beginning. You need to bring the audience in, but you also need to leave on a satisfying note, because the first thing that they see will always have a lasting impression, and the last thing that they see will be the last taste that they have. Started off great this episode, ended with a really bitter taste. So we're going to go into the things that we liked about the episode, the things we didn't like. We're going to talk about the ending immensely, and then give an overall grade. Actually, you know what? Let's just give an overall grade to start off so that we can save the spoiler talk for later in this video. Overall, what did you think of the episode? I kind of gave my thoughts, but you?
Yeah, I kind of agree for the most part. Just kind of mixed feelings about that, the ending. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's the delivery of it all just really, it perplexed me so much. I didn't really question much of the episode until I saw that ending. And then I actually thought back to the episode and said, wait a minute, there's some things that, okay, now I'm a little bothered that I need to delve into. So that ending was quite illuminating because it actually showed a lot of the other issues I had with the episode. And I guess from here on out, spoilers. From here on out,
spoiler alert.
We both recommend the episode. I would say it's a 4 out of 5. What would you give it?
Yeah, 4 out of 5. It not being 5 because of that.
Yeah. Stylistically speaking, the action I think was intense. Although we gotta talk about the cinematography.
Yeah, action was there. Yeah, cinematography was like kind of all over the place.
The acting was pretty good. CGI when you saw the dragons was pretty cool.
Always top notch. What else? Just more so, I guess, on the story itself. That's just
And now with that said, so spoilers. Spoilers from here on out. Okay, good things first, Raph. What's the one standout of this episode to you, or for you, I should say?
I just really love the way they started out. Like that was just a whole like 15 minutes of just pure anxiety and like just tension, and
They're just
it was a
staring,
really good build up, for nothing going on.
they're just staring out into the void, and you're wondering what's out there. Like, are they actually coming? Are they not
the whole
coming?
time we're like, we're busy speculating, like, oh shit, what's going on? What do you think they're gonna do next, and all this.
We actually spoke before this episode that I thought the Night King was going down south and just take, like, his generals would take over Winterfell while he took over King's Landing. That was my suggestion. So for the first few minutes where no one was showing up, I thought to myself, oh, is this kind of like a bait and switch? Like, they think they're gonna attack Winterfell, but in actuality, they went more south to take over King's Landing, take that army, then come back up north and kick everybody's ass. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Yeah, I thought so too. Well, actually, no. Like, I didn't think that, and then you came along, and I was like,
Hey
wait,
guys, I had
that's
this great
not,
idea.
That's actually pretty
Clever, right?
pretty clever. I mean, if I were the Night King, if I was trying to catch everyone off guard, I would have went for like an assault on multiple fronts.
And it would have been
Same time.
interesting. It would have been a great subversion of expectations, where we think he's going to attack the obvious Winterfell.
Yeah.
He actually left.
Because I guess we kind of speculated that on the last episode, because we didn't actually see the Night King.
Yeah, he didn't show up at
You
all.
see, his generals pull up.
He's like, how long do we have to stand here? So, yes, I agree. The first few minutes where it has that tension building, suspense and anxiety, and then you see Melisandre come out of the darkness. When I saw the actress's name in the credits, I said, oh, she's back. And I was wondering how she was going to come back. I thought it was really cool how she came back. And the whole speaking a spell on the Dothraki's little sword things, and they all lit up in a blaze of glory.
Yep.
That was really cool. And then seeing the charge, the cavalry, going down the field in almost like a falcon-like angle.
But even more, I don't know what the word is, but
Spectacular, even more thrilling.
the part where they clash, and then you see all the lights start
to go out,
dwindling
right?
out.
Like, you're looking intensely into the horizon.
That was another, like compounding onto the whole effect of all the tension and all that.
Exactly.
Even more tension with the,
No, I agree.
Just the Dothraki just being wiped out, like out in the distance.
Because keep in mind, the Dothraki are really powerful warriors, especially when they're on horseback. But even powerful warriors are no match for the dead. And then that's another great thing about the episode. That whole clash, it just from beginning to end was just non-stop thrills.
It has some aspects that kind of like reminded me of like World War Z.
Oh yeah, when the zombies are piling up on the wall and
Yeah, they
slowly
start-
starting to
yeah.
climb up. I got a lot of callbacks to the fight at the wall with the Wildlings versus the Night Watch. I got some callbacks to Hard Home. I believe the same director for those two episodes also directed this episode, which makes sense because the man is spectacular when it comes to directing action in the Game of Thrones world. So that was cool. Seeing the dragons fighting in the air was spectacular. Like,
Definitely.
I was watching this video today where they talked about how we've always heard about the Dance of the Dragons. And for those who don't know what the Dance of the Dragons are or is, it was a civil war between the Targaryens, and there was a part in the story, or not even part, there are parts in the story where the Targaryens would fight midair with their dragons. This is the closest thing we're going to get until they make a prequel series where we see the Dance of the Dragons. But for what it's worth, it looked spectacular. Really good. What else did you like about the episode?
Aside from the action, well, I noticed like throughout the whole action sequence or the whole episode, we're busy like pointing out things here and there, like why is he doing that, or why doesn't he just do this or whatever, Like that one time, Danny and John were up on this.
Like on the ledge,
on this
and they were like
ledge.
looking down.
They're
to
like
the
just
battlefield.
casually watching the battle, and then they just see their
whole legion.
the whole just get wiped out. Like you guys couldn't like swoop in.
Couldn't
and
just like fly down, and then they did though. After like how many people?
like
died,
after
right?
they pretty much decimated their entire
pretty much.
army.
But I mean, it wasn't as precisely planned as I thought it was going to be.
I mean, would you peg that as just like just
lazy storytelling.
or like necessary to drive the.
I don't know. Maybe it's a spectacle thing. Maybe they just didn't have it in the budget to have the dragons constantly flying around.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into those issues later. But kind of going back to some of the good things. I think another good thing, although there isn't a lot of dialogue in the film. I said film. It feels like a film though. It's literally 90 minutes long.
Yeah, it was.
So it's like a theatrical film, but it's only one episode of a big series. But one thing I loved about the episode, although there's not a lot of dialogue, there are some very powerful, poignant dialogue exchanges. I think the two that stood out to me was the one between Sansa and Tyrion, where they're talking about how they were once married, and she says to him, "You were one of the good ones." Because I mean, she's been married to some awful fuckers. Joffrey, Ramsay.
I'm surprised she wasn't impregnated.
I was exactly right. But imagine she had to give birth to a fucking creep from one of those guys.
Yeah.
And to be it's kind of an insult to Tyrion saying that you were one of the good ones. I mean, I don't really have much competition. You know, okay, one was a complete fucking lunatic, and the other one was an even bigger lunatic than that.
Mm-hmm.
So not much competition. You were the most sane of all of them. I don't think she married anybody else besides those two. Yeah. She only had dickheads as her husbands. So yeah, of course Tyrion out of all of them would look like the most appealing. But another good one, Theon Greyjoy. I saw a lot of love for Theon on Twitter today.
Mm-hmm.
Well deserved. I mean, you have this character who started off being kind of like a nobody, and he's kind of like a spoiled little brat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm from the Iron Islands. I'm the last living son of Balon Greyjoy.
Just an overall really good
send off.
Yeah, send off, or you see a really good development in this character.
He comes full circle, honestly. Yeah. He starts off as a nobody, then he becomes a complete and total bastard, betraying Robb, killing two innocent boys, trying to kill Bran, taking over Winterfell.
Becomes humbled,
and then he humbles himself in a very extreme way.
Yeah.
When you lose your cock and balls, it kind of gives you a new perspective on life.
That's just putting it mildly.
Mildly, definitely. But and then seeing him come back to Winterfell, wanting to fight for the Starks, I think one of my favorite lines. Everyone loves the part where he's like, "You're a good man." My favorite part was, Bran was saying, "You're exactly where you are, home." Mm-hmm. Theon, something you don't know. Earlier in the series, there was a rebellion from the Iron Islands. Balon, Theon's father, rebelled against the crown. And then King Robert and his whole legion just freaking bashed through the Iron Islands and made him submit.
Oh, okay, this takes place before.
It's about 9 years before the actual story begins. So after that, right, as part of his punishment, Balon actually had to give his heir, his son, to the Starks. And that's why he was raised in Winterfell, and why he was so torn between being a Greyjoy and a Stark. That was his whole inner conflict throughout the series, is that he had a identity crisis, because while he was raised with the Starks, he's technically a Greyjoy, and he's trying to appease two fathers, one being a complete dickhead and the other one being a very honorable man. Yeah. And to see him, or to hear Bran say that he's where he needs to be, home, that's some powerful stuff, dude. That really choked me up. And then also the whole, "You're a good man, Theon," and he just looks at Bran, then he looks at the Night King, and he has that final charge.
He does. Yeah, I mean, he did pretty well as far as
with the bow and arrows,
holding off all those the undead with his just a couple of arrows.
For a guy with no dick and balls, he had some real balls to stand up to the Night King.
Some big cojones.
Big cojones. Yeah. What else did you like about the episode?
Action was good. Visuals were great. I don't know. I think I have more negatives than I do.
Then let's dive into it. I feel like we do need to dive into it. What's the first thing we should talk about? Because I have a list. Where you want to start? You want to start with the action? You want to start with the cinematography? You want to start talking about the people who died, or do you?
I guess we could talk more about the story itself. I kind of feel like underwhelmed with or it was underwhelming as far as like deaths. I mean, we all speculated everybody was going to die.
It's another beyond the wall scenario. Remember the episode Beyond the Wall in season 7 where they send 7 main characters and only one of them, one technical main character, Thor Samir, was the one that died? I'm like, that's it? You were surrounded by whites everywhere. You're stuck on an island and only one of you died? And then a bunch of redcoats that nobody cared about? It's the same thing. They just killed these insular secondary characters.
Yep.
Look, I love Theon, but no one will ever say Theon was like a main character. Theon died, Barrick died, Ed died, and no one even remembers Ed.
Yeah, he was one of the Night's Watch dudes.
Yeah, the one that I didn't care of, actually. I like Pip better. Pip was so cool. Who else died? Barrick, I said already Barrick.
Yeah.
Freaking Lyanna Mormont died in a pretty bad. She died in a pretty badass way.
She went out
with some guts, stabbing that giant in the eye. And
she got hers.
Yeah, and then also at the end of the episode, Melisandre dies, which we all kind of saw. 'Cause she said it at the beginning. She's like, "I'm not gonna live past the dawn."
Yeah, well,
so.
I mean, it was kind of like,
Jorah.
I didn't really see the point of, her dying or living.
You could have gone either way, right? Jorah dies too.
Does he?
Yeah, he finally falls to he falls to the ground for the last time after the Night King. Well, we'll save that for later. But yeah, he dies. But we all kind of knew these people were going to die. I thought they were going to kill. I thought they were going to kill Jamie.
I thought they were going to kill.
No, actually not Jamie. I thought they were going to kill Brienne. After they knighted her, I'm like, oh,
she's going back. She did.
Grey Worm. What the hell? Grey Worm's not gonna die in this episode? Grey Worm. I thought Arya was gonna die.
Arya, the Hound.
They even kind of hinted a little bit that she was going to die, and I'm like, oh, okay, I could.
Wait,
what about what's his face?
I didn't notice Gendry. What happened?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Gendry did not die. He survived the fight somehow. Okay, I guess that happened. The big bearded Tormund. He lives. At least kill Tormund. What else does his character have to do in the series? What, is he gonna fuck Brienne? Are we just gonna wait till he has sex with her, then we're gonna kill him? He didn't die. Davos? Once again, Davos somehow survives the battle by doing nothing. He's not even in the battle. Did you see him fight once? I didn't see him fight.
He was like chilling up in the corner.
Look, we all knew that there are 4 untouchable characters. Tyrion, Sansa, Jon Snow or Aegon Targaryen, and Daenerys. Those are the 4 untouchables. Sansa? They're the only ones that aren't gonna die. Sansa, yeah. They're not gonna kill her. There's too much tension between her and Daenerys. They want to really play up this whole every kingdom in Westeros is ruled by a woman kind of thing, and this whole like 2 women fighting women kind of angle.
Okay.
So there's 5 untouchables. Also, they weren't gonna kill Gregor. They had to keep him, or Sandor. Sandor is his name. They didn't kill Sandor Clegane because in the next episode he's gonna fight his brother down in King's Landing, and we're gonna finally get Clegane Bull, which is really cool. But at the same time, it's just like, well, then you should have killed Arya. It would have been cool to see her sacrifice her life for the Hound, or even sacrifice her life for Bran or any of her Stark siblings. Why did she live?
Oh shit, I think we missed another one. Podrick.
Oh, well, actually I wanted Podrick to live though. It would have been a noble thing if Brienne, like, now you're a knight.
Like she dies and he lives?
Yeah, and he honors her some way. Like
living?
Or even Samuel didn't die. And how many times in the episode did we see characters like getting pulled down? Like I remember that
like
shot.
How did they not like rip his throat out?
Remember the shot where Samuel is on the ground, he's laying on the ground, pile drive by a bunch of zombies, he goes, and you think, oh, he's gone, because Jon didn't go back to save him.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh wow, that's bold. I didn't expect them to kill Sam. Okay, that's cool. And then the next shot, he's just like laying there, those zombies around him. Hey, look, I love Sam, but Sam is, if there's one thing Sam's not, he's not a complete badass where he goes, just killing everybody. So that was really disappointing. It felt like Beyond the Wall once again, where every character had plot armor and they couldn't be touched even though they were surrounded and damn near towards their death.
You think maybe they kind of did this because everyone speculated and this and that, oh, everybody's gonna die? I mean, you think they did that, or was this because I felt like the last season or two, there was a lot of fan service. Do you think?
Yes, definitely a lot of focus on the fan service. I don't think they kept them alive because of we were speculating that they were gonna die. I think they kept them alive because we still have to fight Cersei, and we still want to have all these top billing actors because they're fan favorites. So yes, fan service. Like in the worst way though, not like Avengers Endgame fan service. This is like, everyone likes these characters, so let's not kill them, even though the plot demands that we should kill at least 3 main characters. We need to have one of those, oh my god, gut-punching Game of Thrones moments. We didn't have that here. And if there was a moment to have a gut-punching Game of Thrones, oh my god, they killed that character moment, it would have been here. It would have been here, and they squandered it.
I kind of feel the same way about Endgame.
Oh, because no, I see.
I was
what
like,
you mean.
really?
I see what you mean there. Yeah. Spoilers for Endgame, by the way. But hey, we're spoiling a lot of things anyway. I sort of agree, but from the way that they set it up, all the characters that were snapped, they have future movies. They were snapped out of existence to focus on the core 6, because this core 6 might not continue.
And that's just like, that was even more ridiculous.
Yeah,
we're talking about multiple timelines.
Yeah.
But we digress, but back to
the point.
To the point.
So let's talk a little bit about the cinematography. One thing I did see a lot on Twitter is people were complaining about the dark cinematography, and even tell them what you did. Tell them what you did.
So it started off, and then I had to pause the show, and then I had to look for like
I had to brighten the screen.
Brighten up the screen. But I understand why it was so dark. I mean, when we talk about Game of Thrones and magic and all this stuff, they do it in a practical sense. So, and in like almost like if it were real and all that. So they did it in that type of sense where it's gonna be dark, it's gonna be hard to see. I think that also played into the story itself. Although the fact that they're battling out in the cold and it's dark as hell and you can't see jack.
I could see your point, but the thing is, remember the battle with the wildlings? That also took place at night, and you could see what was happening. Well, where was the moon? Like, okay, maybe you can make the argument about the storm that flew in, but it was dark before the storm came too. So I mean, I'm just saying they could have done better with the lighting in this episode. I kind of agree with it. And I see your point of like it does take place at night. But again, if the season 4
I also feel like maybe we're just the TV we were watching on was just
no, because if it was being talked on Twitter, it's not just us. It was everybody almost. But that's like a minor issue to a much larger problem, and I feel like we should get into that problem now. Before we get into that. What the fuck was the point of showing the White Walkers when not a single White Walker does a damn thing in this episode? Did you notice that? They were just standing around. Hard Home, Season 5. We see the White Walkers coming in and kicking ass. You saw Jon go toe-to-toe with one and kill it. You mean to tell me that you have all this money? This is the fight for the dawn. This is the battle for the dawn. No White Walkers want to fight? Were you kidding me? They're sidelined for the entire episode? You only see them when the Night King decides to stroll into the Godswood like, the battle's over. We want this shit.
Yeah.
And like, when Melisandre told Arya that she'll kill somebody with blue eyes, I thought she was going to kill one of the White Walkers. Maybe each of the main characters would go toe-to-toe with the White Walker. And then maybe one or both will die. Like Tormund and Sam would fight a White Walker.
Yep.
Jaime, Brienne, and Podrick would fight a White Walker.
Yeah.
Arya, the Hound, and Melisandre.
There were like 6 of them.
There were 6. There was enough of them to go around and kind of kill all of them. And then there's the battle in the Godswood. Bran.
That would have been a good build-up, right?
Yeah, right. And then Bran and Jon's fighting the Night King, but he's getting his ass kicked. And then Arya can swoop in and do her thing. But just. Okay, now we should get into it.
I have like a million questions as far as like the
Please ask
King,
them.
The Night King goes.
Please ask.
Like, why is he impervious to dragon's fire? And like, what's his deal? You know.
You know what? I can't even answer that one because even I was shocked to see that he survived the fire. Even though I knew he was going to survive it because the way that they were setting it up, I'm like, the Night King couldn't have gotten beaten that easily. And then he ends up getting beaten that easily.
he can survive dragon's fire, but he can't take a
sword to the belly.
Sword to the belly.
Because and what's ironic too is that it's made of Valyrian steel. Dragons are from Valyria, so you would think, oh yeah, the Night King is dead, right?
Yeah.
But no, because the fire, and he does that little grin thing, like, I saw what you did.
Yeah, you know, like what dragons are kind of like imbued with magic.
It's so stupid. It's one of those like, haha, you thought
So
you
by
got me.
that logic, you would think, oh yeah, it would affect them.
Yeah, it would have actually been interesting if she stabbed him with the Valyrian steel blade, and she smiled at him, and he goes,
That's cute. See, honestly, that was too easy, right? I mean, honestly, I felt like that was too easy.
Let's get into it then. Let's talk about the ending.
Okay, so
the
what
Night
are we talking about, Tony?
The Night King strolls into the Godwood. Bran is surrounded by whites and White Walkers. The Night King's posse is there. Everybody's there. He's giving the look to Bran. Bran's giving him the look. You know, he's about to reach for his blade, and then all of a sudden you see one of the White Walkers. His hair moves a little bit. And then in the distance, you see Arya lunging from somewhere. And the Night King turns around and grabs her by the neck. And I thought, oh, damn, she's dead. And then she drops her blade in that really cool, like, switching her hand style. And then she goes, boom. And then all the lights die.
I think that might have been like a throwback to like a previous.
I feel like that was, right?
She probably did that like in some earlier episode.
Maybe. It would have been cool in a better moment, but... not in this moment.
I mean, it was great, but at the same time, it's like, what? Really? That's how they get him?
That's how he dies. Like that's it.
They did it. They won.
First of all, it was way too easy. Like you do the whole subversion of expectation when Daenerys blasts him with fire, and he's like, oh, I'm still here. But then you do the other opposite subversion where Arya is the one to fight the Night King, not Jon. See, here's what it would have been better. You actually have Jon fighting the Night King. We get the throwdown we've always wanted. That shot in Hardhome where they're both staring at each other. You know that they have business with each other. They haven't seen the last of one another. They're gonna have a throwdown. It's gonna be a long, tiresome fight. You know, someone might lose an arm or something. Like it would have been great if there was like a big old battle scene with the Night King, swords and everything. But instead, it's just whoosh. Then everything is, everyone's dead now. There goes the Night King. Everybody explodes.
Yep.
And everything falls to pieces and it's over now. It's like, it's subversion, but is it good subversion? For me, no, because it doesn't feel earned. That's not the person that I wanted to defeat the Night King. And even if she was to defeat the Night King, it should have been more deserved. There should have been more to the Night King than just, I'm this evil guy. I'm gonna do these evil things.
Yeah, I know they kind of delve into how he came to be, but like I feel like they didn't explain enough.
Yeah, he's like a 2-bit villain now. All this build-up about the White Walkers, we learn nothing about them. We learn nothing about their culture, why they're even doing this. All we get is like one throwaway line by Bran saying, oh, he wants to wipe the world of humanity. And
I mean, we know how he came to be, like vaguely.
Yeah, vaguely speaking, but we don't know his motivations. We don't know what's driving him. All we know is that he's evil. He's evil for the sake of being evil because we need a bad guy. And I think this is what kills me. There was an interview that they did with the creators, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. And they told us in that interview, the ending of the show will not end in some big old climactic battle. It's going to be much deeper than that. How did this end? With a big old climactic battle. The whole point of Game of Thrones is that it's supposed to be a critique of the Lord of the Rings style type story where it's this evil baddie and there's all these good guys and they're facing against the evil baddie. That's the whole point of A Song of Ice and Fire, that there is complexity to this world. It's not black and white. There are grays. That's why you have characters like Jaime, Cersei, Theon, even Joffrey to a certain degree, Ramsay, Robert Baratheon, Rhaegar Targaryen. These are characters that are not just good or bad. You can't characterize them as either. They're all in a gray line because there's complexity to humanity. There's complexity to the world itself. And in the show and also in the books, they said that there's going to be some complexity to what they call the others. That's what the White Walkers are called in the books.
Yeah.
There's no complexity to them. They're just these 2-bit villains that show up and they're going to want to rule the world. It's like I was waiting for him to twirl his mustache, his frozen mustache.
I'm kind of jumping ahead, but do you think that's what they're gonna try and touch on the next episode or two? I feel like they're not done. I feel like
There's more to the Night King?
yeah, I think he's gonna be like, yo, yeah, you guys just got my that was my
Doppelganger.
my decoy, you know.
I would say yes, but considering we only have 3 more episodes and considering what they have done in past episodes, yeah, Night King gone. He's
Really?
not coming
You
back.
think so?
He's gone.
Maybe he comes
I
back.
wish he would come back.
Maybe
I wish
he comes
it's
back
not
in the
over.
final episode, like he just catches everybody.
Exactly, he's
off guard.
still alive,
Yeah.
and then he kills everyone.
So Winterfell, Battle of Winterfell, that was all a diversion.
True. I mean,
This is I'm just speculating, but
it's just so
only because it's this the way they got him, it just felt so underwhelming.
underwhelming. It was kind of ridiculous too.
Yeah.
That he was surrounded. There were whites and White Walkers everywhere. None of them saw Arya coming. Where did she jump from? Was she in the trees? I mean, if she was in the trees, you don't think one of the whites or one of the White Walkers just happened to see a prepubescent teen in a tree? Did she jump from the wall? It's impossible. The wall's so far away from where Bran was standing. She would have to run like Quicksilver past all of them, then leap, and then the Night King would notice her. Like, there's so many conveniences that would have to happen for her to even get close to the Night King. The fact that she was even able to leap that far towards him is like, where were you this whole time? Why didn't you stop the Night King from killing Theon if you wanted to kill him that badly? What the hell? And again, it's not deserved. It's not earned. Arya is not the person to go toe-to-toe with the Night King. It's Jon. Jon's supposed to go toe-to-toe against the Night King. You don't have to make him kill the Night King. The subversion could be that him and Arya team up to beat the Night King, and then they get the upper hand at the midst of Jon being killed. That would have made more sense. But just to have Arya, the only person to leap out of nowhere, and then, hit the button to defeat all the baddies.
Yeah, wasn't she with like the Hound? What happened to him?
He was just hiding inside of a building, I guess.
What gives? Where's the assist, bro?
Nothing at all. It would even be cool if the Hound just threw her. That's how she got there. Nothing. No, I don't. I have one more gripe, but this is more of a gripe because I'm a fan of the books and the series. Why in the world were they riding horses? In the books, they described the White Walkers, the others, riding giant spiders.
That would have been dope.
That would have been cool. And the show even referenced the fact that they had giant spiders. In the third episode of the first season, Old Nan is telling Bran about the long night. You want to hear this story, young master? Giant ice spiders coming from nowhere. I'm like, ooh, am I going to get the ice spider? See, this is another thing that makes me so angry at the creators because when they mentioned the Golden Company, I was like, oh, great, we're going to see the Golden Elephant Fleet. Like, they have an army where they ride elephants into battle. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to get to see, no.
Sorry, Cersei.
They just said that they didn't have an elephant. And I felt like that wasn't a slight on Cersei, that was a slight to us, who wanted to see the elephants. Then they don't do the giant spiders.
I think they must have seen Dumbo.
Okay, ixnay on the elephants, guys.
Yeah.
But
No elephants.
overall, and you know what would have been great though? What if they lost this episode? They lost, and then Bran touches the weirwood tree and then transfers his subconsciousness like what's it called? Days of Future Past style
Yep.
to his former
To another
body, and
body,
like
yeah.
I've seen the future. I know how it's all gonna go down. Here's what we need to do now. We have one chance, like almost Doctor Strange, like one.
Yep.
But no, it's just the good guys win.
Yep.
It's all over. Now we're gonna go fight Cersei.
I don't think
and
we barely scratched the surface about everything in this episode that we could possibly talk about, but
it's so sad, man. Like we built this up. The whole thing of the wall coming down was such a big thing. 3 episodes into the final season, the main threat to the world is defeated. Now we have to deal with Cersei's problems? That's filler. Honestly, that should have been the filler. It's upsetting.
Yeah. So, okay, with that all said and done, predictions.
I don't fucking care. I don't care. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Why does it matter? We beat the big threats, so it's either gonna be Cersei, Daenerys, or Jon that's gonna sit on the throne. What else is there to say? I'm not scared of Cersei. I know what's gonna happen now. In fact, I called it a long time ago. Daenerys is gonna die. Jon is gonna be the one sitting on the throne, or he's gonna be ruling in some capacity.
Safe to say they're taking out Cersei.
Oh yeah. So in the books, sorry, I know I keep going to the books, but the books are just so much better. But in the books, Raph, Cersei is told a prophecy by Maggie the Frog. You saw her in one of the episodes, I think in season 5, where she tells her the prophecy of her kids dying. And in the books, it also tells her that she would be killed by her Valancourt. Valancourt means little brother. She thinks this means Tyrion is going to kill her. But when Jaime and Cersei were born, Cersei was born first.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, Jaime is her little brother. Fans have speculated that this means that Jaime, in the end of the series, is going to kill Cersei. And I think since Jaime is still alive...
Yeah, that's kind of a throwback to his moniker.
Mm-hmm. The King... Oh,
Kingslayer.
I just thought of that.
Get
Right?
it?
So he's the King and the Queenslayer.
Yeah.
Oh my, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, man. But I think he's gonna kill Cersei. They've been hinting at it way too much.
I agree.
So
I mean, you see his character development, and he's now one of the good guys. So, and he's already given up on her, I guess, in a sense.
yeah, there's no love there like it used to be, kind of thing. And I think what might push this death is that she's gonna kill Brienne. He's gonna be so torn up by it, or even just seeing the deaths of so many people, or maybe she's about to kill Tyrion and he just had enough and goes Shaw! Right into her chest, and then you hear the Reigns of Castamere play, and then you just see them holding each other in the arms,
and then Night King comes in at the very end, and
kills everybody. And then there's I don't.
Oh wait, I think we kind of forgot about a couple things.
What?
Dragons.
Okay, where are we going with this?
So we see, so Drogon's
he's still alive.
Still in the game.
See, one of them should have died.
Yeah.
Drogon should have died, and then Rhaegal
actually,
would have been the one to live.
We had this discussion before watching the episode with our other colleague, Polly from Catafem. He was saying, if any of the dragons survive, then it's practically set in stone. You know, they got this.
Well, I mean,
so we were kind of like speculating. Okay, so they
he did mention also the spear, though. They have the spear that can kill a dragon, but you have to be like a really good aim to get that dragon, though.
No, not happening.
They should have killed Drogon in this episode too. Rhaegal being alive is a very, I wouldn't say subtle, but a very clear hint that Jon's going to live.
I think it was a. I mean, if you watch the sequence of events, I think it's a setup for later, because you kind of see his dragon just like
kind of chill
off on the
he
side.
barely went into any conflict.
Yeah, he kind of just, you kind of forget about him for a brief time.
But really, I don't care anymore, Raph. Like, that's the problem. This was the big threat. This was the end game. The end game is over now, and now we still have more plot to go with Cersei.
So we got
Why is Cersei the big bad?
Golden Company. We still got 2 dragons.
Euron. We forgot about Euron and his fucking fleet. Yep. So I'm guessing we're gonna see.
Doesn't he have that dragon's horn? Do you think that's gonna?
The dragon binder is not the same as the dragon binder in the book. I don't think it's the same thing. So, and plus they didn't really do a good job of building up.
So that's not
dragon binder. Well, they didn't do a good job at building it up in the show, because I don't even remember them talking about dragon binder. Okay. Did they talk about dragon binder?
They might have. I don't know why it came to mind.
Well, I mean, but it's fair because in the books, it's a big thing that he can actually use the horn to summon dragons, and we don't know if it works or not. But in the show, there's no build-up, so he has a horn. There's even a horn of winter that's supposedly supposed to bring the wall down. We saw it in the second season. It was never used. So, see what I mean? I don't care anymore. I don't care about Cersei. I don't care about the fight for the Iron Throne. It doesn't mean anything anymore, because even if it's Daenerys or Jon, it doesn't matter who sits on the throne. The fact that we won so easily, there's no conflict anymore. For me, at least. So it's whatever now.
It's too easy.
It's too easy. There should have been more complexity to this fight. There should have been more layers. We deserved more from this final throwdown for it just to be one episode and he's done already. We as fans deserve more. I can't believe it was squandered so terribly like that. Sure, the most of the episode is thrilling and engaging, but the fact that there were no consequences to any of the main characters, the fact that the Night King was beaten so handily with no real conflict for him, like that whole shot where he lifts up the dead. We didn't even bring this up, but they brought back Lyanna, they brought back Ed, they were part of the dead. You know what would have been powerful?
You didn't see it on camera, but that would have been cool for them.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I was going to get at. It would have been so cool to see maybe she fights Jorah. Like he's fighting the head of his house. Or to see Samuel see Ed charging at him. Yeah. He doesn't know what to do. We got none of that. And that would have been a powerful moment to actually kill somebody you knew. But they decided not to do that for who knows what reason. It's a waste. It's just a complete waste. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on this episode. What about you?
Maybe they could have done it in a two-part.
Yes,
they could have broken it up into.
It could have been the whole thing of like, you know how in season 1, the Battle of the Whispering Wood, they sent a decoy army to fight the main Lannister army. That the battle is over, and then Tywin's like saying, "I'm off to go." And he's like, "Where are you going?" "To go fight the real army." The real army fought Jaime's army and took him as prisoner. I thought that's what the Night King was gonna do. I'm gonna send my decoy army, even though he has like a huge army, so it wouldn't matter. Send a decoy army of 1 million, and I'm gonna go down south and attack Cersei. Take over Dorne, take over all of the southern kingdoms because they won't see me coming. And then now we have to go clash in the middle. Yeah. You know, like maybe like a endgame scenario where they're all like charging into battle for Frodo. Kind of thing, you know. But no, Night King's gone. Now we're going to go deal with the politics of Westeros once again. Another big battle that means nothing because they're just fighting for the throne and it doesn't matter.
I get what you're saying now. Like, there was all that build-up for the White
For
Walkers,
nothing.
and then just poof, they're gone.
Yeah, the big baddies, this big threat. I mean, from the first scene of the first episode of Game of Thrones, these mysterious beings come out of nowhere, these mythical creatures that have been thought to be gone. They're a big threat, they're a big problem. We've been building it up for 7 seasons, and this is what it all comes to.
They even had a zombie dragon. I mean,
that's it? We're gonna fight in Winterfell, and then that's the end of the line for you? Is this where Winterfell?
You blew it, Night King.
No, not Night King. You blew it, HBO. Like 2 parts, at least a 2-part episode. Maybe they don't win the battle. Maybe some of the characters run off to join Cersei's like, hey, this is a real threat. We need to put this politics aside.
That would have been a really good story arc there.
Yeah.
Or like a change in the story. Like,
yeah.
They all defect and be like, yo, we need to.
We'll bow to you.
Yeah.
We'll join your cause.
And then she turns around and she just like betrays everyone.
Yeah.
Off with your head. Off with your head.
What a waste, dude. Now we're going to have to go and company fight the remains of whatever army Daenerys has. And Daenerys and her smugness in that preview shot is like, we're going to push her off the throne. And we're going to take that crown from her. I'm like, I just want you to die now, Daenerys. You're not cool anymore. You used to be cool. You used to be great. Now you just kind of seem like a bitch. Yeah, you're annoying.
So you say she's definitely dying?
She's definitely dying. I can't stand the sight of her. I can't stand the idea of her being the head. At this point, I'd rather Sansa be the head. Anybody but Daenerys and Cersei, to a lesser extent. I'd rather Jaime be king. Let Jaime be king. I'd be fine with that. He's gonna die. I don't think they're gonna make Tyrion king. It's really just Jon. And then maybe he marries Sansa, which is kind of awkward, but I could live with that because he's technically not his sister. They're cousins. Yeah. They marry cousins. Anyway, we've talked for almost like half an hour now, but wrap up thoughts.
I loved it, but I hated it.
He's very torn, like I am.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't ask about your predictions though. What do you think about the next episode? Are you even excited like you used to be?
I still am, very much still torn about this whole thing, but as far as where they're gonna take this story, who knows?
Who cares?
Kind of.
Who cares?
Yeah.
What does it matter anymore?
I mean, we do care. Of course, we're gonna watch the.
But we'll watch it because it's Game of Thrones. But at the end of the day, there's no more stakes. This isn't the Game of Thrones from like 4 years ago, where there were stakes, consequences for your actions. This is Game of Thrones. It's told by people that want to keep your characters alive. It's told, I wouldn't say hacks, but very B-level writers that don't want to kill off your characters.
I think that's things took a change when they resurrected John. I think that's where it was.
I think it all changed when like George R.R. Martin was not part of the writing staff anymore, because he said, "Okay, I want to take some time to write Winds of Winter. I'm not going to be part of the show in the same level that I was." His presence was sorely missed, and you could feel it because the last season he worked on was season 4.
Season 4.
Because he wrote the beautiful Purple Wedding episode where Joffrey, that little prick, dies. Well written, by the way.
That was like, I think that's definitely up there in one of the top
most iconic scenes in television.
Definitely like top 3 maybe.
And you know what's funny? I bet you if George R.R. Martin was still writing the show, he would have also gave a really good send off to Ramsay to give him that ending that he deserved.
Yeah, that too was really underwhelming.
Underwhelming, right?
Well, maybe for another discussion.
Yeah, we'll taper this off because we have been talking for so long, but there was so much to talk about and so much frustration felt.
I think the next time we do this, we definitely gotta bring in the whole office in on this because it's.
Oh, then we're gonna be here for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
Man. We're never gonna get this episode down. Anywho, let us know what you guys thought about episode 3 of the final season of Game of Thrones. Did you find it as underwhelming as we did, or did you like it through and through? Did you like the way that it ended? Comment below. Let us know. We're going to be working on some projects this week. Hopefully get a new Take 2 out. It's been a while.
We'll try. Well, I mean, Tony's just got...
We just got back. I took a vacation, so... Yeah. But we'll get it done. I promise you guys. But anyway, if you like some more videos of the channel, be part of the Black Critic Crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. I'm Tony Watt II with my buddy, Raph. Till then, peace, you two.